Yeah, no surprise to anybody with even a half a brain, MassDOT is back in the news. I'm going to share you this video. I cannot tell you the amount of people that sent this to me. It was insane. Text messages, phone calls, emails. Let me show you what's going on here. And by the way, this video, I think it has about 17,000 views. It should have like 1.7 million views. Wait until you see what is happening now.
Getting answers, uncovering the truth. Boston 25 News investigates.
Your tax dollars and state road fees fund Massachusetts' $3 billion transportation budget every year. But tonight, a 25 Investigates exclusive report uncovers taxpayers are getting taken for a ride. Investigative reporter Ted Daniels spent 7 months tracking MassDOT's highest paid workers. Ted reveals a pattern of clocking out and cashing in among some of them.
We've been looking into a group of
This guy deserves a raise. Boston 25 News, this guy deserves a raise. He spent 7 months investigating what is going on here. This guy, he's good.
MassDOT workers since September of 2025. We put the time in, documenting when top earners left for the day. We found employees routinely billing double shifts on legally binding time cards. Time on the clock is supposed to equal time on the job, but we found that's not always the case.
Meet Zach Fuller and his 2025 GMC pickup. It retails for roughly the same price as Fuller's $84,000 a year base salary. Not a stretch when you factor in overtime, paid at time and a half. State payroll records reveal Fuller's total compensation was $240,000 last year.
Is MassDOT hiring? I need a job. I need a job. I will work overtime as well. Base pay $83,000, overtime pay $150,000, and then other pay. Maybe this was a bonus because this guy works so much. He's driving an $80,000 truck. That's the same amount as his base pay.
Or nearly 3 times his base. On his Facebook page, under a 2021 post, someone asked, "Gotta tell us how you make $214,000 a year. LOL. Fuller was the highest paid highway maintenance worker too in the state in 2025. But he's not the only one cleaning up. Many of the top earners with the same job title work here at the heavily monitored District 6 MassDOT facility in Charlestown. Payroll data shows them routinely clocking overnight shifts and then working a full day shift right after. But for at least 8 of them, the math doesn't appear to add up. 25 Investigates spent months monitoring.
This is Massachusetts math, okay? These are very well-educated people. They use Massachusetts math. This is a math outside of the scope of anything else inside of the country, okay? That's what I don't think that Boston 25 News really gets it, okay?
Departure times from a parking garage that overlooks the facility. And we compared that to payroll data we requested from MassDOT. We observed Zach Fuller's truck leave at 11:49, 11:03, and 11:24. On days he claimed overtime until 3:30 in the afternoon. Dana Bell made $228,000 in 2025, 137,000 of that in overtime. Bell's time card has him working overtime until the afternoon on 4 days his Jeep departed.
Wait a second here. So 11:18 on 10/6, 10:43 on 10/10, 11:26 a.m. and 11. So departing, is that what they said? Hang on.
The afternoon on 4 days his Jeep departed hours earlier. That's a Jeep parked at his home at 12:42 p.m. on one of the days he reported working until 3. Tim Manning submitted nearly 1,700 overtime hours.
These guys are basically working 24 hours a day. They're working 24 hours a day, and they're getting
worth $100,000. We watched his red truck leave hours before his claimed departure times on 6 different occasions. On 3 of those days, we observed his truck parked at his home.
He's up to $221 a year. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
We shared our findings with Paul Craney, the executive director of the government watchdog group Mass Fiscal Alliance.
For the average taxpayer, this is completely outrageous. It's taxpayer money.
That's my word, Paul. Outrageous is my word.
But people running our state government are not paying attention to what's happening with their payroll.
So we've been watching these MassDOT workers over the course of 231 days. This is the day we confront them.
You know what the crazy thing is? You want to know what the crazy thing is? This guy is working on this for the last 7 months, spending probably every waking hour of his day. He's outside the facility. He's outside where these people live. He has probably spent more time watching these people, right, than these people have been at work, and probably makes less money. See what I'm saying? He needs a raise.
We confront them.
There were several days that you reported working a full day. Can we watched you left early, even saw you at home?
No idea what you're talking about.
No? Dana. Ted Daniel with Boston 25 News. I want to talk to you about some discrepancies we found from when you left work to when you put on your time card. If you did nothing wrong, can you just tell us that? Are you working all the hours you say you're working?
I don't have no comment, man.
The scenery doesn't change
Absolutely
much at
not.
the state line, but we found the paycheck does. New Hampshire's top pay.
This reminds me. So I watched this last night when I got home. I got home really late last night, and I'm going to tell you another story in another video about New Hampshire, specifically Hampton Beach. So that'll be, I'll film it right after this, okay?
A DOT employee with the same job title took home a total of $79,000 last year. That's base and overtime.
It will protect taxpayer dollars.
25 investigators requested to speak with Governor Maura Healey's Secretary of Transportation, Phil Eng.
This guy, okay? This is the guy that MassDOT essentially hired to clean up you remember the Global Partners and Apple Green bid where we were getting jacked out of like $1 billion, give or take, from the Global Partners bid? This guy is the cleaner or something like that. This guy needs to be removed immediately. You need to be removed immediately. You don't know what you're doing, or you do know what you're doing, which is even worse. And nobody in their right mind should take on a position where they have as much power and as many opportunities, and you don't even look at your own books. Okay? You don't even look at your own books. The problem here in Massachusetts, this is one story. Now, as you know, and we're going to continue watching the video, but let me just talk here for a second. The problem is these people that run these programs, the programs themselves, every single facet of when you have this going on, this isn't the only issue inside of MassDOT. There are probably multiple issues inside of MassDOT. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. This is one government organization. This is, I will guarantee you, happening all throughout all of them. All throughout all of them. And the reason is these people just don't care. They don't care. I said this yesterday. Massachusetts does not have a revenue problem. We have a priorities problem. I don't understand how you could let hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars walk out the door just because you want to be naive. This guy, Philip Eng, you need to be removed. You need to step down. Okay? It needs to happen.
Phil Eng. That request was denied. One of the questions we emailed is, why did it require external surveillance by a news organization to uncover this? We never got an answer.
Yeah, of
Part
course
of
not.
a written statement reads, MassDOT takes any allegation of improperly reporting time worked extremely seriously. We expect all employees to accurately report time worked and supervisors to properly review.
And guess what? We expect you to properly look at the numbers as well, okay? If you are running a business, if this was a business and you are paying your employees, guess what's going to happen? If something like this happened and your employees were basically double dipping and working somehow, some way, they're vampires, they're working 24 hours a day, I don't understand this. You are taking the responsibility. This is what MassDOT is doing this. MassDOT takes any allegations of improperly reporting time worked extremely seriously. First of all, no, you don't. We expect all employees to accurately report time worked and supervisors to properly review and certify time records. It's the law. This is what they're doing. They're basically trying to find somebody that they could point the blame to, except for the, let's say, the leaders like this Philip Ang, or the people that have, some sort of power here. They want everybody else to do the work for them. Yes, this may be a trickle-down effect where everybody, starting from the employee, starting from the supervisor, is not doing that, right? But how long has this been going on? How long has this been going on? That's the reality. They want to blame somebody else and not take accountability for the things that they allowed to happen. If it was just one person, this would be a proper statement. But this is a whole bunch of people committing, doing the same exact thing over and over again, and we're paying for it.
And certify time records, it's the law. Steve Texera made $97,000 in OT last year. We observed his vehicle leave in the late morning on 2 days he reported working until 3 p.m.
Are you working the hours you say you're working?
We were unable to question Zach Fuller as he keeps his truck parked behind a no trespassing sign. We attempted to reach him at 2 addresses found in public records and by email. 25 Investigates never witnessed an employee return to the yard after leaving in their personal vehicle. MassDOT records show all the OT hours were signed off on and approved.
What does this say? 7 to 3, 8 hours, overtime, homeless clean out. Okay. 7 to 3, cut grass and clean up debris. Route 1A North. Okay. Webster. Okay. Washed and transported trucks. This shit's taking you 8 hours to do?
Approved.
This doesn't happen in the private sector, or if it does, it's extremely rare. For the state workers that are, trying to be honest, this gives them a bad look.
We first contacted MassDOT about this story last Wednesday. Since then, the agency tells me they have placed 7 employees on leave and launched an internal investigation. MassDOT.
Good on you guys, but the fact is, Ted, it shouldn't be up to you. This is what I always say, okay? It shouldn't be up to me. It shouldn't be up to Mass Fiscal and Paul Craney. It shouldn't be up to Ted Daniels at Boston 25 News in order to look into state agencies to see what the hell is going on. This is just a repeat at maybe not even a smaller scale. We'll see what happens with the investigation. You know what's going to happen? That MassDOT will hire internal investigators and they'll come out and say everything is working as properly intended. That's more than likely what's going to happen. They'll fire a couple people and then it'll just go right back to status quo. But the fact remains, it shouldn't take me, Paul Craney, Ted Daniel. It shouldn't take us to monitor your own programs or like it shouldn't come down to this is what I'm trying to say.
It says if anyone is found to be entering or approving misreported time, they will be held accountable.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We'll let you know.
Ted deserves a raise. Yeah, so that's what's going on at MassDOT. MassDOT just can't stay out of the news. They just can't seem to do it. But I'll tell you what, if MassDOT is if they're hiring, I would, if I could work 3 hours a day, buy a brand new truck as much as my salary, and just, bill for 24 hours a day so I could collect $240,000 a year, that seems like a pretty sweet gig to me. It's really crazy when you think about it, because most of the time this is generally what I think happens here in Massachusetts, okay? If you have one issue at one company, for instance, MassDOT, last year with Apple Green Global Partners, by the way, the Inspector General is on top of MassDOT in regards to this. And Philip Ang is the one that is, I believe, the cleaner, if you want to call him that. I don't know what he's cleaning, but it's not going to be good. But the fact remains here. This is a problem in Massachusetts where if you have a company, you have an organization or whatever it may be, and it's directly linked to the state itself and their state employees there, what ends up happening is you find one problem, and that is just the tip of the iceberg with these places. It's literally just the tip of the iceberg because they are and don't. Honestly, they have no accountability. That's the thing. These people, I think really what happens here, I really think this is what happens. I think that the people that are like their supervisors and even the people higher up than that, they probably know this stuff is going on. And maybe they just can't find people that want to they can't find people that want to work at these places, maybe for $70,000 or $80,000 a year. Maybe that's the case. I don't entirely know. So they keep the people that they have to keep on the books, even though that they know that they are paying them overtime and they're not actually doing what they are supposed to be doing. And they do. This is just a hypothesis of mine, right? Because otherwise, why would you want to waste taxpayer dollars? Why would you want to waste money in this way, manner, or form? It doesn't make any sense. That normally what happens, like, of course, there's people that cheat the system, right? 110%. There's people that'll cheat the system. But when you have multiple people doing the same exact thing, and this is what they found out so far, God only knows if there's more people, I feel like that they, meaning MassDOT, more than likely knows this is going on and either A, can't replace the people at scale, okay? Like, they're probably going to have a problem now. They just put 7 people on leave. Now, if they have to replace them with 7 more people, maybe it'll be very difficult for them to do that. Maybe the work environment sucks. Maybe the pay sucks for the job that you're doing. I don't entirely know, right? I don't entirely know. But it's not like it was one person doing this. There was a whole bunch of people doing this, and God only knows what the supervisors are doing. Maybe the supervisors are in on it too, because if the supervisors that is supposed to watch the clock, people punch in and punch out, is not doing that, perhaps they are doing the same, right? They're doing it in the shadows. I'm alleging this stuff, but I'm just saying it's not just one person or one supervisor, right? It's multiple people that they've allowed this to happen. So really, it's terrible that it's happening, but the question is, why is it happening? Okay? Why is it happening? One person could kind of slip under the rug, but multiple people doing the same exact thing? How could you not know somebody is not showing up to work, and then their car is parked outside their house at 11:30 in the morning? How could you possibly not know what the hell is going on? As I said before, I'll say it again. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a priorities and a spending problem in Massachusetts, and it's not going to get better. It is not going to get better until these people get serious. I would encourage anybody, I've said this before, I said it multiple times, I would encourage anybody, whoever wants to get into this space and start looking into things and either making a video or whatever you want to do it. There is so much stuff going on. I can't cover it all. Ted Daniel can't cover it all. Mass Fiscal can't cover it all, right? Like we can't do this alone. But the fact remains, the more people that start to shed light on what's happening, and more importantly, the more people, you guys, that come forward as potential whistleblowers and say, hey, I've noticed X, Y, or Z happening at the agency that I work at the nonprofit that I work at. If you guys are seeing these things happen, I understand you guys are scared to come forward because it is your livelihood, right? I get this completely. But sometimes you have to clean up things for the greater good, right? Like it's a necessity. So Ted Daniel, you need a raise, 100%, 1000%. Guys, do me a favor. Share I never asked this, but try to share this video because Boston 25 News needs more views. I mean, even their video, not my video is what I'm trying to say. I don't care about my video. Share their video. More people need to see what the hell is going on inside of these organizations within Massachusetts. People from outside of Massachusetts need to see what's going on. This should be a national story because it's not one person. It's an organization that has multiple multiple fouls. You see what I'm saying? This is not the first time MassDOT has been in the news, and this is another breaking story. So anyway, I'm going to film on the Hampton Beach thing next.